Hi, this is Judy from Fox Cities Quilt Company, and this is Sunday from the Sewing Room, where we give you tips, tricks, and a few tutorials to help you with your sewing and quilting projects. If you like our videos, please hit that subscribe button below. Well, today I'm not in my sewing room either. I am in Florida on a little vacation with my husband, but I still wanted to give you a Sunday from the Sewing Room, but I wanted to do something quick and fun and something that you would find useful for this holiday season. So what I want to show you is this really cute block that I made. It is a present. And it's super simple to make. I use scraps that I had here. You can use Christmas fabric, you can use solids, you can use anything you want, and it's really going to come up quite cute. This is a 12.5 unfinished block, so it will finish 12 inches finished. And let me show you how I do that. So here's your cutting chart for this block. You can see that it's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward, and you can always use scraps. I wanted to show you that you can use all different kinds of fabric and scraps for this block. I am far from home. I am in Florida on vacation right now, and so I just grabbed what I had available. As you can see, I have some fun Florida-like fabric here. I have a leftover 2.5 inch strip, which is going to be my background for this block. And then I brought a project with me, and I have this, let me get the fuzz out of the way, and I have this yellow, which I believe I'm going to use as the bow for my block. But I wanted to show you, you can grab scraps. This does not have to be an all or nothing. It doesn't have to be all Christmas fabric. It can be anything that you want. And so that's why I'm showing you these 3 completely different fabrics. And think about how fun this is going to be if I find all kinds of scraps and I make all different kinds of presents and super scrappy blocks. It'll be fun. But let me show you what it looks like after I get it cut, and we'll get started. I've gone ahead and I've cut all of my pieces according to that chart that I just showed you. I had to switch gears a little bit, and I did not have quite enough of this strip, this 2.5 inch strip, for it to be my background, so it is now my bow. So here is my present. Here is the bow. These are the 2 squares that will make the bow points, and I've gone ahead and drawn a diagonal line on the back of each one. And then the yellow is now going to be my background fabric. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to take one of my, get this out of the way, one of my, my 4.5 inch, which is going to be my bow. This is the background for my bow, and then this is the points for my bow. And I am going to go ahead and place this on that 4.5 inch strip, and I'm going to sew from corner to corner. Remember, I always say sew right next to the line instead of on the line, so that you have compensated for the bulk of that thread, so that when you flip this over, it is nice and even. And I've gone ahead and I've done that on another piece to show you. So you can see that I have sewn as close next to that line. Oh, I pressed this so the friction pen went away. And then I have cut it 1/4 inch away from the seam. And then I flip this over, and that is one point of my bow. And then I am going to go ahead and repeat it with this side. And when I come back, I will show you what the point of that bow looks like. So I'm at my machine, and I have a little crumb in my machine so that I don't get a little knot at the end of here. So I'm going to go ahead and feed this in, because I want to show you that I do indeed sew right next to the line and not on the line. Let me lift that up so I don't get that caught in there. And I want to be as close to that line without being right on the line as I possibly can. I hope you can see that. And I want to show you what that looks like. And there you go. So I sewed right next to the line down here, but I went over on this portion right here. But see, this is what you want to do, is you want to sew. Let me see if I can get that in focus. You want to sew right next to the line, see my black line there, and not on the line. So I've got that taken care of, and this is, it's a flying geese unit. And on the back, you will see my intersection here. Remember, I always say, watch for your intersection. And this unit that you just made should measure 2.5 by 4.5 inches unfinished. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a 2.5 inch square on each side of that flying geese unit to make my top of my bow. The next thing that I'm going to do is after that, and I'm going to go ahead and put these together and just chain piece them so you can see it. Let me move these out of the way. Is I'm also going to put my package together now. So here is my scrap. Here is the center of my bow. It's going to be really cute. And here is the other side. Once I get these together, I can complete my my package or my gift by sewing this strip here to the package that I made here. I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so I have my package or my present together. So this was my 2 scraps, and this is my bow center that I cut. Then this is the top of my bow. This is going to be really cute. And so what I want to do is I don't want to lose that point. So what I'm going to do is I am going to watch for that intersection, and I am going to sew just on the other side of that X. I don't know if you can see where that is. It might get out of focus, but X marks the spot. So let me show you what that looks like. So I'm going to lay this on here, and I match up my edges. And I'm going to go ahead and sew a 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way down. And now here is that X. I'm going to lift my foot up. And I just want to sew just on the other side of that X. Remember, you have to count for the bulk of your thread. That's why I sew right next to it and not right on it. And let me complete that for you. And we'll see how good my point is. See how well I did. So yes, I am just on the other side of that intersection. And when I flip that up, I did not lose my point. So this unit, the package that you made, or the gift, should measure now 8.5 inches square. And here is my side strips that I'm going to go ahead and put on. And they are measured 8.5 inches. And I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way down on each side. And I see that I'm going to be a little off there at the bottom, just a tiny bit, but I can square that up, or I can lose it in my seam allowance. And let me just sew this other side for you. And we'll see how good this one is. And again, it's just a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And we're going to sew all the way down. And this makes this now 8.5 inches high by 12.5 inches wide. That is really coming together really nice. Let me press this, and I will show you how to put this top and bottom strip on, because we don't want to lose our points. Right, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sew the 12.5 inch strip, because this block is going to finish 12.5 inches square on the top, and I don't want to lose these points. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay that 12.5 inch strip on there, and then I'm going to turn it over and sew it, because what I want to do, and let me get rid of some threads here because they drive me a little crazy, is I want to make sure again that I sew just on the other side of that intersection so that I can account for the bulk of my thread. It's going to be a little difficult here because I have a big wad of thread here, but I'm too lazy right now to take that out. So I'm hoping that I can just guess and make sure that that works. I can kind of see where that is. If you're a good sewer, then you would take that out, like I did not, but that is the beauty of live filming. And let me push that up there. Okay, now we're at that intersection. I want to show you that I am sewing just on the other side of that intersection, and I'm sewing all the way to the end. And we'll see how I did even with a bunch of knots, of whether or not I lost the point on my bow. Let's see. I did not, yay. But you can see that if you use that intersection, then you will not lose those points. The last thing I'm going to do is sew this on the bottom, and I'll come back and show you exactly what this looks like all done. So this is my finished block. It is so cute. I love how it turned out. I love how it's bright and happy. And so I loved it so much, I made 2 of them. So there are so many things that you can do with this block. I'm thinking that it would be cute to lay these out and make a cute little table runner. You could put these with some Insulbrite and make some pot holders for the holidays. You could put them together on each side and maybe make a little pouch. But the things that you can do with this block are absolutely limitless. So you can also make a quilt. Just think about this scrappy in a big quilt. It's a 12.5-inch block. So even if you had made 12 of these out of your scraps, you'd have a nice lap-size quilt. This is Judy from Fox Cities Quilt Company, Sunday from the Sewing Room. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.